Joining me now is journalist and filmmaker Ami Horowitz. Ami, we'll get to President Donald Trump's meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shortly, as well as the executive orders we've seen today. But first, let's talk about the confirmation of Trump's AG, Pam Bondi. She is a firecracker. Here she is with Adam Schiff.
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
I like the cut of her jib. Ami, what sort of an Attorney General will Pam Bondi be?
First of all, great to see you again, Rita. Oh, so nice to be on the air with you again. Hello and welcome. And also, one other aside, Cynthia Nixon, got a little quick story about her. When I had a kid and we were at the park and we sat on the bench next to her and her child stole my daughter's string cheese. So just want to put it out there. Cynthia Nixon owes me and my child some string cheese. Yes, I know.
She's a dairy thief. She is a dairy thief.
I know.
I could see that from a mile away.
So Pam
Bondi, what do we think?
Yes. Look, I think she's going to be great. She'll do a great job. I think that, first of all, I want to say John Fetterman, hats off to him again. As I've said before, I'm a Fetterhead, the only Democrat to vote for her. And I appreciate that. Look, at the end of the day, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, was politicized and weaponized to an extent we haven't seen in recent history, maybe ever. I think she's going to bring law and order back to that office. I'm looking forward to that. I think, first of all, and most importantly, she's going to use and follow the laws on immigration, the most important thing she needs to do in that job. I think also importantly, let's be honest, she's not Matt Gaetz. Sorry, not a fan. I think he was a terrible choice. I'm so glad he stepped down. I think she can do a great job. Is she a fierce loyalist of Donald Trump? Yeah, probably. So what? I mean, look, Kennedy put his brother as Attorney General, right? Obama had his brother from another mother, Eric Holder, as Attorney General. I don't really see a problem.
If they're not a loyalist, they're not interested. They have to be loyalists. That is completely necessary to implement the Trump agenda, because we saw the first time around the white anting that came from within the bureaucracy trying to frustrate Donald Trump's plans. So this time around, being a loyalist isn't a negative. It is absolutely necessary. Now let's talk about President Donald Trump's executive orders today, withdrawing the United States from the UN Human Rights Council. There's a review of UNESCO, UNRWA. Let's have a listen.
In light of numerous actions taken by a number of bodies of the United Nations, which exhibit a deep anti-American bias, we have an executive order prepared for your attention that would withdraw the United States from the UN Human Rights Council, would withdraw the United States from the UNRWA, which is a refugee organization, and would also review American involvement in UNESCO, which has also exhibited anti-American bias.
Ami, did the president go too far?
No. Oh, my God. Oh, long time coming. Look, let me give you a list of countries here. Libya, China, Russia, Venezuela, Qatar, Afghanistan. This is not a list of countries that are the biggest human rights abusers that Human Rights Watch is listing. This is a list of countries on the Human Rights Commission today, okay? These are the people, the biggest human rights abusers in the world are on the commission that's policing human rights. Look, I did a movie on the UN. I spent 5 years completely engrossed in the UN. I made a movie called You and Me. I traveled around the world to UN facilities, okay? If there's one thing I know, it's the UN. And let me tell you, it is worse than we think, way worse. Look, the Human Rights Commission and now the Human Rights Council is an absolute morally bankrupt joke. We have no business being a part of it. I went to Human Rights Council conference in Geneva once. Actually took it over and took the stage and gave my own speech right after Ahmadinejad, who was the keynote speaker, the head of Iran, murdering people, trying to destroy Israel, hanging gay people. He was the keynote speaker for the Human Rights Council. Look, UNRWA is worse, way worse, okay? Real quick, UNRWA, the UN Relief Works Agency, was established in 1949. It's every single refugee in the world is under the High Commission of Human Rights for the UN, except for the Palestinians. They carved it out because they wanted to have a corrupt organization that would support the Palestinians against Israel. And it's exactly what UNRWA has been from the jump, okay? Understand, UNRWA has been, in this last conflict, a partner with Hamas. UNRWA has allowed its facilities to hold Israeli hostages. UNRWA has allowed its facilities to be used to bomb Israel. I have a video where I shot a video on UNRWA where you see them, I shot them when they're taking missiles and putting it into a UNRWA ambulance so it can get through unmolested. Okay, again, moral bankruptcy. Look, the UN is bizarre world. When you go to the UN, you've left Newtonian physics, okay? Bizarre world is this comic book planet in the Superman universe where everything is opposite, right? What's good is bad. What's pretty is ugly. Actually, they sell bonds literally in bizarre world where the pithy saying, buy these bonds, lose money. That's exactly what the UN is. And thank God we are leaving these bodies. And of course, Biden, we left these bodies during Trump 1. And then Biden unbelievably reinstated ourselves and funded UNRWA. Thank God we're out. Good for him. Bully for Trump.
Now, President Trump met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, and he announced the U.S. is taking over Gaza.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
And the announcements did not stop there. President Trump also said he wants to resettle all Gazans.
How many people are you thinking about?
All of them. I mean, we're talking about probably 1.7 million people, 1.7 million, maybe 1.8 million. But I think all of them. I think they'll be resettled in areas where they can live a beautiful life and not be worried about dying every day.
Ami, the president made the point that if you don't do something dramatically different, you're going to have the same results again, the same issues they have seen for years, for decades. How do you see this plan coming together?
I mean, look, first of all, I want to point out that it took Biden 2 years to meet with Netanyahu, and that was during a war. Trump met him within 2 weeks. So there's a difference right there in how the two administrations view Israel. Trump International Hotel and Golf Course Gaza edition? Yeah, I'm there for it, Rita. Look, this is Trump's instincts of being a developer, trying to build things out, coming through. How real is the plan? I don't know. I will say this, that I would put my money on Gaza being rebuilt quicker if Trump's running it than the people who lost their homes in LA or are subject to the technocrats of the Building and Safety Commission in Los Angeles. I'll tell you that right now. Look, I don't know.
Will he be able to convince the likes of Egypt, Jordan to take these people from Gaza? Is he going to be able to convince some of the countries in the Middle East to actually participate in this process?
Look, my gut tells me no. These countries have experienced Palestinian refugees. Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt have taken Palestinian refugees, and they have suffered because of it, right? They have found all they've had is misery and suffering from taking in Palestinian refugees. So I think they're very, very gun shy. And right now, across the board, they're saying we're not going to do it because their history has not been good with taking Palestinians. Having said that, yeah, every time I bet against Trump, you generally lose. So if anyone can cut a deal to make them take them in, I think Trump can probably do it. But we'll see. I think, look, the Palestinians have to understand. Do I feel sympathy for the Palestinian people? I do, to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, okay? There's a price to pay when you spill Jewish blood. I think the Palestinians have now realized it. They're going to remember this for generations. So at the end of the day, look, it sounds like this is kind of, Trump free jazzing it a little bit. It seemed like the Netanyahu government was kind of taken by a little bit by surprise by it. We'll see how it all plays out. I think it's interesting. See what happens.
Well, President Trump was also asked if the US will support an Israeli strike against Iran. Let's hear what he had to say.
Israeli strike on Iran.
We'll see what happens.
He didn't say much there. He just said, we'll see what happens. But as we have discussed for years, really, and particularly since October 7, Iran is the key to Middle East peace. Is Donald Trump going to be able to use economic coercion like he did in his first term to bring the regime under control?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, talk about a departure from the last administration. Let's not forget that in April, 300 drones and missiles were raining down across Israel by the Iranian regime. And what was Biden's response to Israel? Don't escalate or you're on your own. How callous can someone be when it comes to Israel's safety? Trump is the opposite of that, right? Trump is saying, you do what you got to do, take care of business. And I appreciate that. And he's there to help Israel where he can. Yes, of course, he's going to use massive amounts of economic sanctions. He's going to bring them to bear, as opposed, again, to the Biden administration that gave Iran $16 billion to use as they saw fit. And what they saw fit was reaping havoc and terror, funding Hezbollah and Hamas and raining missiles down on Israel. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I think, finally, Israel has an ally in the White House, and they're going to take care of business.
Now, ending on some lighter news, President Donald Trump was also asked about his predecessor, Joe Biden, signing with a top Hollywood talent agency.
What do you think about Joe Biden signing on with a talent agency?
You got to be kidding. He signed on with a talent agency?
Yes, he's got some entertainment agents now.
I think he's got bigger problems than that. I really do. I think he's got much bigger problems than that, but I wish him well.
What will we see from President Joe Biden? Are we going to see a documentary in the Harry and Meghan style? How is he going to justify this new signing?
Well, the word on the street in Hollywood is that he's actually starring in the third chapter of the trilogy of Weekend at Bernie's #3, The Last Weekend, finally. Look, he's been acting as president.
Well, we've seen 4 years of that.
He's been acting as president the last 2 years. Might as well monetize it and go to Hollywood, right? Why not?
Ami, we've seen 4 years of Weekend at Bernie's. I don't think we need any more reminders. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Always a pleasure.